So this is a Coachman Laser Xcel 875. Just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, the jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake I'll take you through while you're here on site and explain how that works. On the right hand side front of the van you have the gas locker with gas regulator on the bulkhead and your two gas bottle tie downs. You can carry a maximum of two 6 kilogram propane gas bottles on board the van. On the other side of the van, the other storage locker is just that, a storage locker, and then, as you can see in there, you've got the shower accessory for the outside of the van. You've got your all heating flue on this side of the van on the outside also, and that is simply there to allow the gases out of the heating system and hot water system when it is operating, so it's a bit like the flue on the side of your house. You've got your direct water connection to the side of the van, just underneath that cover, so you connect a hose straight into the side of the van itself. You've then got your aqua roll and water pump connection. The water pump very simply pulls out and pushes into place, as you can see. The cap or the slide down flap there will just lock down to hold it in place. You've then got your battery in the side of the van to power the 12 volt systems on board, and you've got your mains power lead coming to the side of the van also. You've got your wheels. We'll torque the wheel nuts before the caravan leaves site here with us, so they'll be torqued to 120 Newton meters, and that will be done in front of you so you can see they've been tightened correctly. Wastewater, so you've got the fresh water that goes in the front, and you've got your wastewater that comes out on the side of the van just here. The grey waste pipes will drop down into the waste master itself, and that will just be the water from the sink and shower, and not from the toilet cassette, which is just in that locker there. On the top here on the outside, you have your flush tank, so that takes 3.5 litres of water and also a cap full of the pink fluid. The bottom box down here houses your toilet waste cassette, which you simply pull out by pulling up the orange handle. The neck here turns out to allow you to tip the waste out of the cassette, and the grey cap here is what you'd actually use for measuring the fluid, so for the cassette at the top there, the water cassette at the top and the water and the tank at the bottom, the waste tank. In this cassette you'd put 1 litre of water and a cap full of the blue fluid. On the back here you've got an orange pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. Coming around to the far side of the van, as you know this van's got self-levelling on it, which as you can see is fully down at the moment. I'll demonstrate how that works again while you're here on site. I'll give you a brief run through just on the control panel inside the door in a moment. The storage locker, access for underneath the bed at the rear of the caravan, and then you've got your fridge vents on either side, on the top and the bottom of the van on the door side also, and that is allowed to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit itself. The locker here is for access to the storage underneath the seat at the front, so just on the other side of the door. And then you've got a 3-pin socket so you can have power out to your awning and a barbecue gas point. Just going to, like I said, just briefly take you through the control panel now so you've got an idea of how it works for the self-leveling. So you've got power on for the control panel. It'll indicate here that the legs are down. To put them up, you'll press the button here. And you'll notice a set of arrows here. So essentially these will show you when the caravan is out of line, when it's not been levelled. And then to put the legs down, you press the auto down just here. So the caravan steadies itself, and we'll put the steadies down itself, then level the van also. I've got an emergency stop here if you ever need to stop it while it's going down or up. I'm just going to turn that back off for now. When you are putting the self-leveling down, you'll need to make sure the nose of the caravan is pointing towards the floor. So the toe hitch on the front needs to be lower than the back end of the caravan. So you'd have it pointing on a downward angle, so essentially a bit like that, to the nose. So the back of the van is my hand, and then my elbow is essentially the front of the van. I'm going to go inside the van now and show you how it operates from the inside. First thing above the door is the control panel for the caravan. So as you can see, we're connected to mains, power and water. So we've got mains power on, which is already on at the moment. You've got your internal lights on the caravan. So as you can see, when I touch to the button there, it will turn them on and off. You've got your awning light on the outside of the van. You've got your water pump run, and you've got some options through the control panel here telling you different settings about the van. And then a back button so you can always go back to your home screen if you ever need to. So you've got water pump run up here, like I said, so the water pump is on. To start with though, when you come into the van, that water pump would be off. To fill the water system on board the van, which is the first thing you're going to do, you're going to need to come over to all of the taps on board the caravan and open them all on the hot side of the water heating. Or the water, sorry. As you can see at the moment, the system's already full, so I could demonstrate everything was working to you. As I said, all the taps open to fill the water system. And then you'd go underneath the seat on the far side of the front of the caravan. And down underneath here, you will actually find a yellow drain down valve. Now, it's going to be a little bit hard to show you in this video, but essentially where you see that blue pipe running along the floor, just there, you can just see the yellow valve. To fill the water system, that yellow valve would need to be parallel with the floor. And if you was to drain the water system off, because you're done with the caravan, for instance, and you finished your holiday, you'd lift that valve upright and point it towards the bottom of the seat so you completely drain the water system down. But like I said, to fill it, it needs to be parallel with the floor with the aqua roll connected on the outside. You'd then come to this switch above the door, turn your water pump on with all of the taps in the open position on the hot side, wait until you had water coming out of all the taps fully, and then you close off each tap once you have water fully through the system. At that point, you can start thinking about warming the water on board the van. That's where this other control panel above the door comes in. So you've got on and off the Aldi heating and hot water control panel. You've got an indicator in the corner to let you know that the mains power is connected. And this little circle here with the arrows indicates that the heating pump is running and the heating system is working. Just here, you have the internal temperature of the caravan at the moment. If you press the menu button, it will bring up the internal options for the caravan. So the top one here, you have minus or plus for setting your room temperature on the caravan. So for instance, we'll set it for 25. Below that, you have your internal water or the water temperature for the caravan. When the minus arrow on this side is grey, it is actually completely turned off. If I select it once, it will turn the water heating on to around 35 to 40 degrees. If I press the button again, as you can see, so that bar is completely black, that will mean the water heating is on boost, and that is a timed 30-minute boost. Below that, you have the option to set the amount of power that is coming into the caravan from the caravan site you're on. Now you'll notice you have 1, if I went up again you'd have 2, and if I went up again you'd have 3. Unfortunately here on site we can only run it on 1 kilowatt. Most caravan sites will allow you to run on 2 kilowatt, but we do advise that you ask the caravan site you are visiting to what you can run your heating and hot water at. Now this control panel, when I say the heating and hot water, will only control the amount of power that is going to the heating and hot water system. As you can see, at the moment we have it set on 1 kilowatt. If you wanted to use the heating and hot water system on gas, you could simply do that by pressing the flame symbol at the bottom here, which will self-ignite the gas system on board the caravan. At the moment we've got no gas bottle turned on, however when you see the caravan tomorrow we'll put one on to demonstrate it is all working as it should. It will self-ignite, and if it did fail to ignite it would actually come up with gas fail at the bottom of the screen here with 2 exclamation marks on either side. So that is your heating and hot water explained. We're going to go to the fridge next, which I've already turned on again, ready to demonstrate. But to turn it on, you'd press and hold this, or to turn it off, sorry, you'd press and hold the central button. And again, to turn it on, you'd press and hold the button, and it will come on. Now, this dial here will actually select what you are selecting on this screen. So if I press it here, you'll notice I've got the option to change the temperature of the fridge up and down. And to set it, I very simply press the button here to select the temperature of the fridge. If I spin the dial around again and press the button, so we come onto the mains plug symbol, we can select the power source the fridge is using. Now if you set it to auto, that will always go to mains power. Got 12 volt when you're towing down the road. So for instance, if you're towing the caravan down the road and you've got your car connected, you can actually use the fridge as a cool box. You can also go to gas, and again, the fridge will self-ignite on gas. So when I select that and then come out of it by going to the option at the bottom, it will try and ignite on gas. At the moment, it is letting me know there is no gas connected and through the system. So it's trying to ignite, and it can't do that at the moment, obviously. The options that you see at the bottom of the screen are ones that we advise you read the manual for. You can turn off sound, you can turn on the freezer, etc. through here. But again, you'd need to go through the manual to operate this. Just select the power source and come out of there. There we go. So that's the fridge set. The fridge does open on both sides, which is a bit different for a fridge in a caravan. So you can open it up on either side without having to worry about the door coming off, and the same with the freezer at the top, as you can see here. The cooker works very much like your household cooker, and again we'll have gas connected to the van tomorrow, so you can see all that operational, so you know it is all working as it should. At the bottom you have your grill and oven, again as you expect to see, and your grill pan will be inside with the grill pan handle. The bed, to set the bed, you'll actually pull it out from underneath and you'll notice the top part of the mattress drops down, and then that is the bed set for use. You can push it back in for daytime when you're not using the bed, or when you've got the van in storage for instance and you want to get around it to do bits and pieces inside the van. You can push it inside, push it back in again, so it isn't stuck out the whole way across the van, which gives you a nice large walkway. The bathroom, taps, etc. work very much the same as household items. No differences there at all. The radiator, we do advise you be careful with those when you are using the loo facilities on board the van, because that radiator does get quite hot, and potentially if you caught yourself on it, even after it's turned off, it could potentially cause you an issue. On top here, you have the toilet flush for the toilet system, which we showed you how to fill it from the outside. At the bottom of the toilet, you have the grey waste flap, which you open to allow the waste to go into the cassette underneath the van. We do advise you open that before using the loo. Then on top, you have a full indicator light for the toilet cassette underneath the van, and that will indicate when the toilet cassette is full. The toilet does turn for your convenience, so as you can see, I can turn the toilet cassette to toilet seat to where I'd like it to be. However, we do recommend when you try and, it is absolutely essential that you turn the toilet seat back to the central position before you try and remove the toilet cassette from underneath the van, because if the toilet's turned, it'll actually lock the toilet cassette in place, so it can't be removed while the loo is being used. If you have any further questions on the Coachman Laser Xcel 875, please do give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'd be more than happy to help. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy the caravan.